Hello, this is the aftermarket report with Vegas and Jim. Today's date, December the 19th, 2018. And guess what? Vegas is back.
Hey everyone. I've got to say, I really missed being on with Jim talking to you guys. So thanks for being patient while I could return from my trip to Israel with a horrible cold. So I've been, slowly recovering and also adjusting to the time zone of a 7-hour difference. So thank you. And thanks, Jim, for the nice welcome.
Yep.
Well, let me tell you, I probably chose a pretty good week to be away because the markets have been a little bit off. But, you know, when the market's off, our goal here with I Love Stock, because we are here to help the trading community, is really to try to find stocks that can have some movement based on volume and news. So, even though sometimes the markets are red and there's some stuff happening out there, we try to focus on, what can we do to help people still make some money. So on that note, I first want to talk about what I love so much. You guys know I love the Fearless Girl statue. Now, I don't know if Jim can show that to you, but for those of you that don't know, this Fearless Girl statue was sponsored actually by State Street. And this Fearless Girl statue was situated in front of the Bull in New York City, and most recently was relocated in front of the New York Stock Exchange building. And I love that she's there and she's standing in a pose. And, it basically means, fearless girl, and I can do anything. And, nothing's going to stand in my way. And I love it because it's about women and empowerment and, not feeling discouraged that, you know what, you can do it. It doesn't matter your educational background. You can do anything you want. You put your mind to it. So I love that. And the other message it's actually for really is to encourage these Fortune companies, these Fortune 100, 500, global companies around the world to actually bring more women executives to the board. There's a lot of companies that are financially doing so well, but they don't have any women on the board. So this is definitely to encourage those companies to bring more women executives to the board. Report that they are actually making some changes in a lot of companies, promoting more women to the board. So that is awesome to hear. And I'm just so excited now that the statue is standing in front of the NYSE building. So this is fabulous news, and I hope to be able to see that very soon when I head out to New York in the new year. So congratulations to the women traders. This is great news for everybody. So thank you. And thank you to all the men. I got to say, a lot of the men support women traders. And I really appreciate all the men that support me every day. And I thank you all so, so much. And Jim always is one of my favorite cheerleaders. So, on
2468,
to
who do I appreciate? Vegas.
yeah, that's right. That's what Jim says, sings to me on a regular basis. So he's a great cheerleader. So a couple stocks we're going to talk about today for sure is MRIN, KALY, KALY, sorry, UXIN, TLRY, and ARQL. And of course, don't forget, I will talk about the Fed rates and what happened today, but I'll leave that to the end, okay? So stick around. So let's first talk about MRIN. Now, I gotta tell you, this stock really, really shocked me a little bit because when it started running today, I mean, it opened up, uh, it went around 9:30, around 3:41, and it ran as high as 784. And let me tell you that when I was reading about the news, I mean, at the time that it was running, I knew there was news, but it was just, I was so involved in looking at another stock that I'm going to talk about in a minute that I didn't really take the time to really read this news properly. But you know what? The news is amazing. And I don't know if you guys read it out there, and I encourage everybody that you should be reading the news because this will help you determine maybe sometimes position size, also determine if you're going to hold the stock, maybe swing the stock, maybe invest in the stock. So it's really important to read the news. So MRIN Software actually entered into a revenue sharing deal with, of course, Google. I mean, hello, if you hear that name in a PR, would you not think, wow, this stock's going to rip? Of course it's going to rip. I mean, why wouldn't it? So the stock, they entered into a 3-year revenue sharing deal with Google. And what they're going to be doing is developing its enterprise tech platform and software. So the contract is going to last until September 2021. What the pact will either end or technically be renewed. So as a result of this, the stock was ripping. So what it's going to happen is they're going to get MRIN, MRIN, is going to be getting payments from Google based on revenue generating tech platform in connection with MRIN's clients' spend on search ads, which appear on Google search only. So if you guys notice when you do a Google search, sometimes you'll see little ads pop. So they'll have some sort of relationship there. And it will also be paid by Google with regarding to what their clients spend on search ads appearing on what they classify as eligible search engines, which exclude Google during certain the contract year. So I think this is awesome news, and I think that we can probably foresee more of this stock. So I'm going to let Jim talk about the chart because I got to tell you, this chart had a lot of ups and downs today, and we called so many breakouts today on the stock. So a lot of people made very, very good money. So I encourage you, if you're not even in the room, please come visit. I mean, nothing to lose. You can come by for 2 weeks free. If you don't want to join, don't worry about it. Just come and make money and learn about trading. But nothing like listening to Jim's calls on voice live. So Jim, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about the chart.
Oh, this was mentioned in the aftermarket report yesterday, MRIN. So it had a year high of 1150, and we just had a bottom here last month of right around 215. So pretty nice little chart, pretty nice sell-off right there. And then when you get news like this, man, it took back half of a year's, maybe 3/4 of a year's gains in one day, 2 days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a 20-day chart and just kind of glance at what we did here. Yesterday I called this out on the video because I saw the breakout after hours. It had some news. And then today we pulled straight back to what I called a support level. So I drew a trend line right there at 357. And all these trend lines that are above here, all them there were made today. So what was so cool about this stock is every time it would hit a new high, it would pull back a little bit, but we were very bullish on this stock, and the rotation and the volume was just so perfect for this. The float, I mean, it was a low floater, so it had the low float people in on it. People tried to short it in and out today a few times, so I'm going to pull up what I call the 5-day, 15-minute. The breakout kind of started right there, and then we had the day where it kind of relaxed, and I flipped this thing 2 times yesterday, and then I mentioned it after hours here when it was right around 362. So it went ahead, it opened up right about that price, it consolidated all day and all morning. So I told the room, right first thing in the morning, keep an eye on this thing at 353, and we ran all the way up to 784 with this 3/4 of the day. And then we had, of course, you're going to have the people sell off and take profit at the end of the day. So I'm going to post up a 1 minute daily, a daily 1 minute, excuse me. And you can see how we took this stock today. I had a trend line started right here, and once we broke past that trend line, and I'm going to magnify it just a little bit so you can get a bigger picture. I've told the room maybe we can pull back to this area of support right here, right around 422. So it created a little base off that support, and we were able to get back in it again, and we followed it up, and it ran up to around 470, 450 something. Then it had the pullback and hit that 50 at 100 SMA. And I have that on a daily 1 minute. And this is the trend line. That these three trend lines is the ones I use: 50, the 100, and the 200 on a breakout stock. So it ran on up. We created a little pendant flag right here, and then I called another breakout. We had a flag right here. I mean, this thing was just so beautiful today. I can't see that flag because just the way this chart is, but you see this little flag I have right here. And it broke on up, and it came back to support, and it went ahead and went on up, and we were able to flip this. I can't tell you how many times I flipped this thing today. I mean, I was in and out of it, in and out of it, in and out of it all day long. So we ran this thing all the way up to about this level right in here, right around $7, and it decided to go ahead and pull on back and consolidate. So I blew this box up here, and I just love this chart today. I mean, it had me shaking, screaming, and yelling because this was a play of the month, the way this channel ran. So we were able to bounce up and down off the 100 into the 50, and we broke above it, and we bounced down, hit that 100 again, and then we had that big breakout. And look at this, and then the sell-off came. And I tried to get in here a couple of times, and I made a few mistakes, but I was up real good for the day. And then at the end of the day, I called that support out again, right here around 586. And then we had the bounces, and we hit it all, brought it all the way back up here to 670. So we're kind of consolidating after hours. This stock had great news. This is not the end of the story yet. So I'm just going to pull up this 1-year chart and remind you, keep this on your watch list. Any kind of pullback will be very healthy. Kind of look at this yearly chart, and I'm thinking maybe around 626 if it wants to pull back, because that there was a support right there. But we had 1150 high about the same time last year. We made back 3/4 of that gain today. So let's try to see if we can get a small pullback on this thing tomorrow and run it back on up to the previous highs. See, we hit the last high that I called, 782, and I just kept going up the table. I mean, it was just non-stop, and every time it hit one of my supports, resistances, it would stop and consolidate a little bit, and then boom, we'd get another 10-15 cent bounce. So keep MRIN on the top of your watch list tomorrow. I guarantee you're going to make some money on this stock. And the next one Vegas wants to talk about is going to be KALY, KALY.
Yeah. So KALY, as you guys know, I love this one. I mean, so many of them I actually love. And they actually say don't fall in love with stocks, but you know what? I love stocks, so too bad. So KALY, as you guys know, has had quite a lot of PRs. I mean, KALY is in the designs, they're into markets, they distribute apparel, and very weird company. I mean, they're into products for 20 to 45-year-old men under the VLOV brand in the People's Republic of China. And they sell their product to distributors, but also directly to consumers. So this is a weird stock because they're also into the marijuana sector. So they had very good news, and I like this news on KALY because they brought on board a cannabis biotech inventor, Frédéric Ferry, who's going to be the new CEO to lead the company in the $28 billion medical cannabis market. Now, if you guys remember, KALY had a PR a couple months ago with regards to NCM Biotech, and they were basically taking it over. They actually took over that company. However, that company, Mr. Ferry's company, he's the one that obviously owned that company. So now they brought him on board to become the CEO of KALY. So, you know, part of this buyout that they did with this particular NCM Biotech Medical Advisory Team, now they, you know, selected the founder, Mr. Ferry, to join KALY. And he is extremely excited. He says, you know, he's going to bring in nutritional wellness products, also the hemp formula and EverX that they already have that's generating revenue. And there's going to be a lot of really good synergies that are going to be in this particular company. And they will have, I believe, a separate PR that will actually publicly, formally announce the KALY subsidiary to include specific information on clinical research studies and also with regards to one of their proprietary cannabis extracts. And you know, Mr. Ferry is a brilliant inventor. He is a pioneer in an exploding field of cannabis extracts. And this was commented by Charles Yuan, who's the chairman of KALY. And this man is a force to be reckoned with. This guy's a genius, and I think there's going to be so much more to see from this stock. And I'm going to leave this to Jim because he's been talking about KALY in quite a few videos, and we've been bullish on KALY. And I know it's in the OTC sector, but I think this is one to still keep watching. And Jim, you talk about what's happening with KALY because we've been watching this all week.
Yep. And just look at this chart on this thing. And, I mean, I think we called this stock, or I called this stock right around 29, somewhere around 0.003. So we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days of just solid upward bound here. And I told Vegas this morning, I said, if we get to 2 cents, and look at here, right where that candle is, we kind of hesitated there on this stock here, and I'm going to pull up a 5-day chart. But we've exceeded all-time highs on this, okay? So let me change the days here. You can see the breakout and how I played this. Well, about 4 days ago, this idiot comes out and he bashes this stock, says it's worthless. And I'm going, what? You know, that's about the time that they're talking about the farm bill. So the farm bill gave this company a big boost. A lot of these CBD oils got a big boost on this farm bill. So I think we're just now beginning to scrape the ice on the pond right now. So this thing pulled back, and I called this pullback right here around 9.3, and I've been talking about this stock for at least the last 4 or 5 videos because I just can't take it off. I'm going to get as many listeners as I can to understand what this company's about. So we had one, after that day, that next day it broke out, it consolidated, and then we had the bounce yesterday, and then today we had the big bounce. I'm going to bring this down to a 1 day, and I told people in the room when it opened up here at 18, if this thing goes to 2, we're going to have a breakout. And then we might go ahead and see 2.5 and maybe 3. And that's exactly what I said before the market even opened. What bounced on up, we had the pullback right here. It hit the 50 SMA on the daily 1 minute, run that 50 all the way up. Then when you see a little sign of weakness, and I keep telling everybody when that 50 starts to curve down, that's when you want to start maybe scaling out, taking a little profit and wait for the pullback to find that support, which I had driven on this line right here, and we bounced right up off of it. Now, I could have made it up here, but for some reason I put that trend line right there, and it landed right on it. So it bounced on up, then we pulled back and almost hit it again. We had see the negative come down, so we're very bullish on this stock. It pulled back again right here to about 229, so we might have hit a resistance for now. So we want to come in here tomorrow and maybe consolidate a little bit more and then have another breakout. Any kind of knife on this thing, go ahead and jump in it, but be careful. We love KALY. We love the new person they brought on board. This stock's going a lot of places. I'm definitely still 100% bullish on it. And the next one we're going to bring up is a China play.
Yes. So we're going to talk about UXIN. And this company here, for those of you that don't know, UXIN Limited, hopefully I'm pronouncing that one right. This is like people compare it to the Chinese Baidu. I mean, definitely Baidu, as you guys know, they actually own shares of UXIN and are a e-com site for the used car business. So, I mean, if you guys know, I mean, in Canada, you know, we have a site called autotrader .ca, so similar to that. And you can go in there and you can go to the website. You can pick whatever car you want to buy, and then you see the make, model, and you then from there you can actually you can apply for financing, and then basically if everything checks out, your car's ready for pickup. So it's like a one-stop shop for you to get a used car. So UXIN has been doing extremely well. And I want Jim to show his prediction this morning. I gotta tell you guys, this man's incredible. Um, he predicted this morning before the stock even started running, okay, um, that the stock, he was predicting that this is gonna go to $9.23. And like, I don't know how he does this. This was like before, like maybe 20 minutes into the morning. And he already made that prediction. And I thought, okay, let's just see what happens. And look at this chart after hours. Absolutely incredible. And so, Jim, you talk about this UXIN because you actually love this stock.
Yep.
And I know you've been talking about this, and we've talked about this company before, but
Yep.
you've been talking about this for the last little while too.
Yep.
So, people that are listening and watching the YouTubes, you guys should be making money out there.
Yeah, about it was kind of hard to hold the fort down when Vegas was gone, but I did the best I could, and a lot of stocks that I did pick were pretty good runners. I just kept playing the ones that I thought had momentum. So I'm going to pull up the year's chart on this. This has been out for 6 months. We got a year high of 1049 we want to meet. And if we meet that, we could break that 52 week, 6 month high. It's almost said 52 weeks. But then that was at 1049. But look at the bottom play we called it on this stock. And I have no fear about China and their cars. I don't think the tariffs are bothering them anything at all, one bit. So this is kind of what I think boosted this stock. And it had a low of 281 and ran all the way up today to a daily high. Let me pull that up. And I'm just going to first pull up this 5 minute, show you what I was seeing and how I come across that number that I was talking about. I already had a resistance line for a long resistance here, but this was yesterday's high here. You see what I'm saying? Right at 922. And so that's how I come up with it. When that thing sold off, and I was still very bullish on it, it hit my trend line channel that I had right here. So I knew it was going to bounce up once it broke that and bounced above it. And we rose above it, and then we pulled back, and I said, this thing's going to go right back to that previous high of the day before. And here we went. About the end of the day, we hit that 922, and then we broke past to my other resistance that I had here at 967, which even put icing on the cake. So I'm very bullish on this stock, but there's a point where you got to start for it to relax a little bit, and I think we're getting up to that point right now. So if we can touch that high, that's going to be the judgment day. And if we can break past that, I'm going to start adding some new numbers on it, but it's going to be just probably, I'll just have to wait until I see the action, because it's going to mean a lot about the spread and the way the tape is. So I'm going to bring this down to just a daily and show you how we played the stock. It was so beautiful. And I had the trend line right here already set for 793 from yesterday. Okay, this was from yesterday. So when we bounced up and we had that breakout and it pulled back right to that trend line, and that's what's so marvelous about the way I like to read charts, and I've been doing this for about 14 years. So it bounced on up from that trend line, would have been a great entry at 792, and it bounced all the way up to 987. Now it pulled back and hit that 100 SMA, and it bounced up and hit the 50. So we're going to come in here tomorrow, and I'm going to maybe suggest we're going to see that 922. If not, it'll pull back to this next support level here at 872 and bounce up from there. So let's keep this thing on watch. I've been bullish on it. I've been repeatedly saying it. So if you've been following me, you had plenty of time to get down there at that low level of $3 and run it up 300 and some % in a matter of 8 days. This
Oh
is
my God, that's amazing.
UXIN. Let's see if we can get it to consolidate a little bit because the breakout after hours, today was just wonderful. And you seen what it did yesterday. It pulled back a good $2 or $1.75. So the same reaction can happen tomorrow, but let's see if it takes it to that low support of 874, 873. And that's UXIN. Keep it on your watch list. And then Vegas has got
Okay.
a real hot one here. This is really going to blow your mind.
Well, when Jim and I were like planning a list of things to talk about, I'm like, oh my God, in the middle of talking to, oh my God, there's news. There's news. He's like, what? I said, I gotta add this to the list. So you know what, guys? I have to add this in here because there's a lot of people that are into the pot plays and maybe even, mid cap, large cap traders like it. So I have to talk about Tilray, TLRY. And the reason is because Budweiser has joined the growing ranks of alcohol giants, and they have made a partnership with this Tilray, who's obviously from Canada. And the two companies' PR was just released about less than an hour ago. So this is fresh news that the two companies will jointly conduct research into non-alcoholic cannabis-infused beverages. Does this not sound like an NBev potential down the road with maybe Coca-Cola? Who knows? But this is just all things that I'm imagining one day. But each company is actually going to invest $50 million
Oh my.
in the partnership, which is limited, by the way, to just Canada. Okay. So the decision about commercialization will be made at a later time. And one of the things they're going to look to commercialize as well will be, get this, marijuana edibles, because they won't be legal in Canada until 2019. So the Tilray shares have been jumping based on this news. I think over $3 a share after hours. And the New Age Beverage Corp, which has said it wants to launch a line of cannabis infused beverages. So isn't that NBev? Also is up 6.3% after hours. So I'm telling you, what goes on with one stock sometimes creates a reaction in the other stocks. So I mean, if you're not in Tilray, you're probably in NBev. And AB InBev is the third alcohol company to partner or invest in a Canadian marijuana producer. Since, as you guys know, marijuana became legal in October, Molson Coors Brewing signed a joint venture with Hexo Corp. And as you guys know, Constellation Brands is now the biggest shareholder in Canopy Growth. And tobacco company Altria also announced a $1.8 billion in CRON, which is the Kronos Group, this month. So as you can see, this cannabis companies are partnering up. So don't be shocked to hear other PRs down the road with other companies that have a good line of business. And don't forget, I always talk about David's Tea. I mean, David's Tea could see something going on because that stock's pulled back. So who knows? But anyhow, I want to mention this. Unlike the Constellation and Altria deals, both of which include the option to take majority control in the future, Tilray CEO Brendan Kennedy has confirmed that we want to remain independent. We want to control our destiny. We have not sold our company to anyone. And we are not looking to get bought or acquired. Okay. So thanks, Brendan, for confirming that to the shareholders. So that's great, great, great news. The talks for this deal have been happening for a year, making the deal one of the best kept secrets in the rumor saturated marijuana business. And apparently, the executive, Brendan, was meeting in Seattle, in New York, and in Toronto. And they were talking about what's going on with this shared vision And then they realized that, hey, you know what? We have good synergies. I think we should collaborate. And this is how the partnership came about. And the partnership is the second announced by TLRY this week. Because you guys remember earlier this week, and I don't know if Jim had a chance to mention it, but on Tuesday, TLRY did confirm that they also reached an agreement with a division of a Swiss drug giant, Novartis, to develop and distribute medical marijuana in legal jurisdictions around the world, which made the stock run 16%. So, since the stock has gone public in July, this is the second largest pot company by market value. And this is really great news. And this company, for those of you wondering, like, where in Canada is this company? TLRY is located in London, Ontario, and also where AB and Bev subsidiaries, Labatt Breweries of Canada, also has a facility in London, Ontario as well. So I wonder if they were meeting in London to do a little chat. So good job. These two companies are also going to be creating jobs in that city. So this is great for the economy as well. So you know what? Stay tuned for more expansion, more partnerships with maybe other tickers that have a similar type of business. So over to Jim now on the stock and chart. Jim?
Yeah, if you can out there, pull up this ad that's on Wahoo Finance and read this article about this. This is really interesting. It talks about a bunch of companies forming mergers and stuff here in the past month or two. Now, I'm serious. This sector, and don't take me wrong, and I've been on this sector for almost 10 years watching this sector. And I was yelling out people, it's time to really start considering buying this stuff. Now you're getting up here where the prices are getting up and they're getting high, and I don't think we've seen nothing yet. Because this is going to take over a lot of pharmaceutical companies, and they're going to start crying. There's going to be a little battle cry coming out from them. And a lot of these investors, which we're seeing now, institutional investors and mergers. And if anybody knows anything about Wall Street or about companies, when mergers start coming in, that's when you start thinking, okay, we're in a milestone here. We're in a milestone. So and read this article if you get a chance to pull it up. I'm 100% bullish on this sector. So this is TLRY. Vegas and I called this thing when the IPO came first out here at 20 bucks. 20 bucks. And then within a couple of months, this thing ran up all the way to 300. It went berserk. So it had its initial run, its initial breakout. And it's pulled out, and I've called this thing from $100, anything from $100 for a while. I was saying play this stock, and you could have played that from $100 for almost a month and a half here, 2 months. And so we've pulled back, and some fat cat wanted to get in here and bash TLRY about a week and a half ago, and I was just laughing at him. He said it was going to drop 50%. I think he just wanted to get his fingers in the trap. So what's going on? I'm going to pull up a 20-day, and we've had the big sell-off, and we called this out in the room at 64. I had a target of 55 to 45 on this stock after that idiot posted that bashing article about this stock, and I'm just laughing. So here we are. We had a great run yesterday. We pulled back to support right here. You see that bottom? We hit that bottom here around $70, $71, and it bounced up to 81. Now, with this news that we just got today, I'm going to see this thing run up here. I'm going to see it back at 100 bucks. TLRY, keep it on watch. Add a little bit of inventory because I heard a big pension plan in California bought into this stock too. So the money's coming in, and the government passed that farm bill. They're going to get a lot of this CBD oil. So I mean, this is really a catalyst for maybe a 2-year run at least. And I'm putting that
And
out there.
yeah, and I just want to mention, I was saying that TLRY is in London, but TLRY, the processing facility, I just want to clarify, is in London, Ontario. But TLRY is actually based on Vancouver Island, okay? So just to clarify that in case those of you that know TLRY say, what is she talking about? It's in Vancouver. So they do have a processing facility in London, and but they are based in beautiful place of Canada. If you love traveling, you should check out Vancouver, Canada. Beautiful, beautiful place.
And it's run,
Okay.
and after hours, it run from, with this news, it ran from $70 all the way up to 85. That's a
Oh
$15
my God.
bounce.
Look at that. I should have traded that.
Yeah, and now it's pulled back to the moving averages. And I
Look
used,
at that
like I've
stock.
said over and over and over and over and over, we had a golden cross right here. I'm going to go ahead and circle that golden cross. I like to educate while I talk on here because I think it really helps out people. But when that 50 crosses up over the 100 and the 200, look at that. You could have had you a nice little $13 bounce. And now we're touching back. So this thing's going to be at $100 tomorrow, if not by the end of the week. And don't let the fears of Wall Street bring you down on this sector, because people are going to play this sector, the medical marijuana sector, no matter what. And it's been very bullish for 2 months, definitely since the legalization up in Canada. And it's going worldwide. So the next one we're going to talk about, and remember, the Farm Bill has made a big difference in all this sector too. It's a big help. And the government wants to get their fingers in on it too. So
Oh,
the next one we're going to talk about, Vegas. I'll let you bring it up.
oh, it's okay. I just
A,
wanted to just
a
mention ARQL,
yeah,
just to have that one on your watch list. I've been watching it all day today, kind of like the volume a little bit. This ARQL. And what intrigued me a little bit too, because you guys know I love reading the tape, is I really liked these some after hour buys, two specific blocks, one around 53,000 shares, one around 55,000 shares, both around $2.90, buying at the ask. So I do like that about the stock. And I do like the volume today. And coincidentally, I think Jim and I were looking at the chart together, and he actually liked what he was seeing there on the stock. But just briefly, just to let you guys know, so this company is in Massachusetts, and let me just see here. I gotta find it here on ARQL. So, do you guys know what the company does? No, yeah, no. So they are obviously in a clinical. They're pharmaceutical company. They're into clinical trials. They were actually also, just to mention, they have been selected. This is news, fresh news from today. They have been selected for inclusion in the NASDAQ Biotechnology Index, which is called the NBI. Okay. And this is great for the company. This will take effect prior to the open on Monday, December 24th. And the index, if no one's heard of this before, is designed to track the performance of a set of securities listed on the NASDAQ. So that is actually very good news that they've been selected, because you can't just be, I want to be on that list. You have to be selected and chosen. So this is good news to have them listed on the new little exchange there. So I
yeah. I
do
didn't
like
know
them.
that.
Hmm.
I didn't know that until just now. And that came
Yeah,
out
so
today. Yeah,
they're going to be on the index. So I think that's great, and they're going to be classified as either biotech or pharmaceutical, according to the industry classification benchmark. And this is great because the requirements include a minimum market cap and average daily trading volume. So this is actually very good for the company. And this is great. So not only that, but the company is very involved in research and therapeutic treatments for cancers and rare diseases. And their mission, and this is, I mean, I like the mission. I mean, who wouldn't? To discover and develop and commercialize drugs in areas that are unmet, that can extend and improve the lives of patients. Love a company that loves doing that. So keep ARQL on watch. And I want Jim to talk about the chart, because I like what I'm seeing on this chart. And Jim, you tell us what you see.
yeah. I'm going to pull up a year's chart here, I haven't looked at it until Vegas. I mean, I've talked about it and looked at it, but once I pulled up the chart, I seen this red line on here, and I said, well, I wonder what that's on there for. And as I study it, what I was seeing is this is going to be like a yearly pivot point. It could go up a little bit higher right here, maybe to around 317. But I had a 386 on here for some reason. And here we are, right here, 386. 286, I mean. So that kind of caught my eyes. So I'm going to bring this down to a 20-day chart. And I'm going to just draw a few trend lines in here, and you can get a little taste of how I do this. I'll take that, and I'm going to run me a little resistance level right there around 398. Going to have us a little support level right here around 290. Low support right around 280. You know, and a bottom play here at 273 if it wants to break that. Draw a trend line there. I'm going to bring it up, bounce it right about there. So we're going to have a little target. We're going to watch this tomorrow. We're going to analyze it. It's definitely on watch. I don't think either one of us are in it, are we? Probably not. She didn't answer. So right.
No, I'm here. Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. Okay.
I do want to make one other comment quickly. Is that also this was bullish rating, and this was mentioned at the ASH conference. They were at the ASH conference, but Oppenheimer has a buy rating on this as well, which they did share, and they're looking to target around 533 is their price.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy, and I do like the action here at the end of the day where it kind of had a double bottom. So I think we had us a double bottom, and we closed up a little bit after hours. I want to pull that up and show you that. See that? So let's keep this thing on watch. Let's try to find us a little channel to play. We'll see if we can break it up to resistance right around $3, 317, and we hope to get past that. That'll be a resistance, and then we'll try to carry it up to 330, and then from then on out 337, and then we'll just see what. And we'll bring it up again if this thing starts to run tomorrow in the aftermarket report. But today it's on watch, and that's
Just on watch.
Yeah, ARQL.
And last but not least, so I just want to quickly talk about what spooked the market about the Fed rates today. So I just want to cover some information that I have here. You know, when I was watching and reading information on CNBC, not that we love everything. Believe me, a lot of crap is said on there. But I got to tell you, a lot of people were pissed off. I don't blame them. Never have people seen in the history of the markets that 4 rate increases in a year. Like, what the F was going on? Like, that is such bullshit. And people are pissed off. And, the Feds failed to sound like it was ready to pull from its tighter policy path as much as markets had expected. They did hike the interest rates, but it did not remove the language in the statement that would imply a slower path to rate hikes. And Jerome Powell also rattled the markets by saying that the Fed was satisfied with its program to shrink the balance sheet, and it has no plans to change course. Now, if you guys remember Janet Yellen, okay, not everyone loved the woman. She was the federal chair. She was around, year. And, people couldn't stand her. But you know what? I guarantee people would love her back because at least, Janet Yellen, we kind of knew what was going on with her. But I got to tell you, this Powell, I mean, I want to know if this guy even owns any stocks. Like, does this guy have any stocks that he raised the rates today? So the rates were raised by a quarter point as expected and lowered its median rate forecast to 2 hikes from 3 next year. Whoopee. The central bank also, as I mentioned, changed the language statement. But what really scared the markets was that the Fed chairman Powell said that the people were satisfied with the balance sheet and they weren't going to make changes. And traders view that as another tightening path, since the Fed is reducing the balance sheet by making fewer purchases as Treasury and mortgage securities holds to maturity. And, it was mentioned by a market strategist from Luthold Group James Polson, he stated that, I think the market's reaction to all of this is the Fed's going to overdo it. And he's like, how else can you look at this? Then it smells at a minimum like a really big slowdown in the economy that's coming, maybe even something worse. And Powell says he sees no problem with the balance sheet runoff, and that's the one that hurts, is what Polson said. So strategists had warned that the market was braced for a very dovish Fed, and stock traders had been hoping for a big bounce in the market after the Fed move. But the Fed retained a comment in its statement, as we mentioned, that it would further gradual rate hikes and changed it only by adding the word some. And Fed watchers had expected the language to be removed and replaced by an indication that would be more dependent on economic data. So there's a lot of nuance in the decision. I think it's very clear from the statement of Powell that it is not poised to turn sharply dovish. And obviously, no one is very happy. So what happened in a lot of cases is stocks were sold off initially, then they bumped around before spiraling lower again. The Dow and the S&P 500 fell through the lows of the year, and bond yields fell. The Dow closed 1.5% lower at 2.3, and then the S&P 500 was off 1.5% at 2506. The 10-year yield was 2.75%, its lowest level since April. Like, what? That's not even a joke, right? Get it? April Fools. It just reinforces that between the Fed hike and shrinking its balance sheet, it's a double tightening in 2019. If I think it's just reinforced that the market did not get the dovish hike that it was looking for, and that was mentioned by Peter Bookfard, who's the chief investment strategist at Blakely Advisory Group. So you know what? Not very happy with this rate hike at all, and a lot of people are not going to have a Merry Christmas. I just want to make one other comment. I read an article about people that are supposedly supposed to retire soon and had so much of their money in pension plans and pension money that was invested in a lot of, like, I guess what you call, large cap stocks like the FANG stocks. And a lot of those people, the value of their pension plan has gone down 30 to 50%. That some of those people that are planning to retire apparently are not going to retire on a full-time basis. They're going to reduce their hours because now they're saying they can't afford to live off the money based on the valuation of their pension plan. Like, I am like, wow, that is so scary. So, Jem, what do you have to say about all this? Because I know you have, you are not too thrilled either.
No, I
And
wasn't thrilled
I
at
mean, you've
all.
been in the markets a long time, longer. So you tell the viewers, maybe your thoughts, and then we'll wrap this up.
Everybody has an opinion, that's for sure. But what Janet Yellen, she kind of thought, looked at the whole picture, which was a world economy, and she knew that if she screwed the rates up here, it would affect the whole world. And I'm seeing right now a world recession. I'm seeing, China having issues. Europe's having major issues over there with riots and crying about tax hikes, and so I think this new idiot that got up there is just thinking about America, and our economy's the best I've seen in my lifetime right now. But basically, 4 times in a year, and we didn't have a raise in 8 years solid when all that free money was getting up there and handed over to the feds. I mean, we printed more than $4 trillion to them, giving them 87 billion a month for 2 years, and they treated the private sector like it's trash. Because now there's a whole new environment now. We got people that are freshly out of high school. I know a 17-year-old kid that's made over $5 million in the past 3 months playing the options on the SPY, and then so there's money to be made. But now we're down here at the Dow Jones, and the thing dipped down below a year's average. I mean, wake up, America, and especially wake up them feds. So that's all I got to say. I'm not too happy about it. Not right before Christmas, and like Vegas said, people going into retirement. This could trigger, and a lot of people have cash in their hands right now, so they're just kicking back. I'm playing these bottoms as we go, but yet a lot of people don't know how to do that, and they'll just wait until they think they hit a bottom and get back in it. So I'm hoping 2019 we're going to get over this by the end of the year. Then we're going to have a nice 2019, and we're going to gain back all the early gains that we lost in 2018. And that's my opinion. Okay, Vegas, you want to say the final comments before we leave? This is
Well,
also I'm going to tell everybody I really did miss Vegas, and she's back. She's back in the saddle, and she's ready to ride the range.
well, I'm back, guys. And girls, my girl traders, I gotta say, I am so excited. I love that all these women traders are coming to visit us and chat. I've just met so many great female traders, and I'm so loving it. And I hope that there's more of you that please come there and not be shy and come say hi. Um, I actually have a phenomenal woman trader that messaged me today that's in our chat. And I will give her a shout out probably tomorrow because I want to ask her permission. But she actually joined the chat, and the cutest thing, her and her mother, they trade together, mother and daughter. Like they both decided they would, they trade and they trade together, and they were in the chat. And she messaged me today and says, my mom was trading with me and listening to the you and Jim on voice, and she's been listening a lot more to Jim in the last little while because I was away. But she said that her mom actually wants to join, and so her mother's going to join the room too.
All
So
right.
I was like, that's awesome, a mother-daughter team. I said, oh my God, I got to talk to you. So I love that there's you know such a nice diversified team, and it really is all about the team. Say when you love what you do what you love. It's just like amazing. So it feels great to be back. I sound a little raspy-ish because of my cold, but maybe it'll recover soon. And yeah, that's it. I'm just happy. I missed Jim. I missed everybody. We're happy to be back together.
Yep.
And we will chat with you guys again tomorrow. And thanks you to all the followers on YouTube for being patient for my return. So thank you for not unsubscribing and following and listening to Jim, because he's giving you guys calls. He's trying to help you guys make money. So please share the channel with friends that you feel could benefit with our guidance and information on stocks, because I try to keep things on a very basic level so that everyone understands. I don't want to talk at a high level, corporate level, because I come from the corporate sector, but I don't want to talk at that level because at the end of the day, I just want to be spoken to in plain English and just cut to the any BS. So I try to keep it simple so everyone can understand, because I want everyone to learn and everyone to make money. So on that note, I love stocks. I love everybody, and I love that I'm back.
We extended this to an extra long video just to show the appreciation that we do have for Vegas. So everybody subscribe to our I Love Stocks channel. Hit that bell so you can get our updates. And
Oh
this is,
yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, we can't forget about that.
Oh no.
And
And you know what?
everybody
Oh my
that's
God.
in and everybody that's in my YouTube channel, I want you to transfer and follow the I Love Stocks channel, and there's a link provided for you to do that in the
Yes, and
room.
we hope you like our new intro today. So please comment below. And also, Jim and I have some surprises that we'll share on Sunday. I think you guys will like what we have. We got viewer feedback, and so we have a few little surprises to share Sunday's video, because you guys know we don't do a video Friday, Saturday, but we will do one on Sunday. So please stay tuned for that. So please ring the bell and subscribe and follow. So see you tomorrow. And if you're not in the chat, come on in. We'd love to meet you.
Yeah, I just posted the SPY here too, and I just posted the Dow, but look at the SPY. We're also at a year low on the SPY. So, I mean, it sold off all the way from here, all the way 20 some points on the SPY. So let's see if we can get a little Christmas Santa Claus rally, come back to at least the support level on this thing around 256. I'm going to hit a target right around 256.53 is what I want to see. So this is the aftermarket report with Vegas and Jim. Today's date, December the 19th, 2018, and we love stocks.